Have you been invoked to take up the shamanic path, or perhaps just in your life you found that you've had interesting experiences where you keep being drawn to shamans like Heather Feather? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the shamanic rare bird. I've mentioned in other videos, when I was 42, I started working with a shaman named 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐼. Charles Lightwalker has books available for sale. You can go to Amazon.com, type in Charles Lightwalker, spelled like it sounds, and you'll find a number of phenomenal books from a man that has history as a minister. He is a Cherokee Celtic shaman. He is brilliant and a gentle, loving soul, as many shamans are. But he was somebody that really helped me on this path and set my feet on it initially. I was summoned to the shamanic path at 42 by him, and that's usually how people get on the path. And it's interesting because 1 week after he summoned me to the path, my friend at work, I was working for an organic superfood company in California, and my friend had just gotten a new deck. And she said, "Do you want to use this on your lunch break?" I was like, "I'd absolutely love to." I shuffled the Native Nations deck that she got, and the card, I asked, "What is my purpose? What am I here to do?" I got the card of shaman. Now, when he invoked me to this path, I had this clear picture that a shaman is only someone from South America. A shaman is only someone that's an elder. A shaman is only somebody that is reared in close to the land, in more tribal ways. That was very clear, my understanding of what shaman meant. One of the things that he has taught me is that shamans and medicine people exist for every culture on the globe. There are shamanic medicine people in Japan. There are shamanic medicinal people in Germany. There are shamanic medicinal people for every culture on the planet. No, they do not live in just one location. And it's often true that somebody born as to become a shaman in their lifetime has likely spent other lifetimes on the shamanic path or on the medicine person path. I've had many lifetimes in which I've worked with herbs and worked close to the land, and have worked to help and aid and heal people. I've been a healer for many different iterations of incarnation. I was a shaman in Indonesia with my brother in a past life. The mother we had in this life was with a different partner in that lifetime, but they were shamans and reared us in the tradition. The plant medicine shaman I trained with, he and I had a past life where we weren't blood brothers, but we were like brothers, and we were both shamans, and he was the one that often helped to pull me back from the spirit realm due to my spiritual curiosity and due to his capacity to recognize how to stand cleanly in both realms. One of the core foundations of being a shaman is having, essentially, we could say, 1 foot in the spirit realm and 1 foot in the earth realm. So a foundational component of being a shaman on this planet is that you are somebody that is able to traverse and navigate the spiritual realm in order to bring back answers, understanding, wisdom, healing, to then be shared with the physical realm. So you could say they are standing in the veil. Heather has definitely been standing in the veil. Heather Feather will be offering some classes next year around entering the shamanic path. So those that are ready to hear the call and are ready to step in to know more about that path. And I have been blessed to study shamanism from an international standpoint due to my prime teacher, the invoker of me onto this path. And it was shocking because when I was invoked to the path, I was like, "Oh, I'm only 42. I'm not an elder. I'm a white person," which is like enemy to everybody. Like, how, you know what I mean? Like, how could I be this thing? How could I be this thing? And I've had to come to terms with the reality, of my own belief matrix. I believe we live many, many, many lifetimes. All of us have lifetimes in which we have been in the shadow representation of the self. We have been a taker, and we have done cruel and terrible things if we live many lifetimes. We've all held that mantle. We also all hold the mantle in the storyline of evolution of being love, being medicinal, being the antidote to the poisons we've been. Everybody holds the mantle of some cleanup work around the lifetimes of poison that they've been, and everybody holds the mantle of the lifetimes of medicine that they will be and become, that they can start applying on their journey. So one thing I needed to initially clear up is that, yes, Heather Feather has had some past lives in which she has not been the content of character she is today. And I am honored to serve humanity by being the woman I have become, to be the medicine person that I am today, to be the antidote and the medicine to poisons. I'm so grateful. But I'm not under any illusion, no matter what iteration of incarnation or flesh costume I've chosen, that I don't have cleanup work to do. So the first step for any shaman or medicine person, truly, in my perspective, is to be a medicine to the self. You make sure that you've worked on your own physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health. Heather has created a class called the Lionsgate Portal. The Lionsgate Portal happens every year when the star Sirius, Orion's belt, and the sun in the sign of Leo all align in a particular alignment with the earth, which causes and opens a manifestation portal. And an Akashic Readers once told me that if we haven't done our evolution work, because we all have it to do in the previous year, and we move through that portal, we will carry the same lessons into the coming year. This portal is a wonderful opportunity to apply some new movement and energy. So Heather has written a 5-week course to deal with earth, air, fire, and water, or the body, the mind, the heart, and the creative spirit, along with spiritual perspectives, to move us further through that portal. And it's specifically written for you. I'm not handing you my spiritual perspectives. I'm tickling up the spiritual perspective you're going to walk in the coming year. And so you're welcome to join us. You can go to Rare Bird Medicine. We already have 10 or 11 students, but if you go to rarebirdmedicine.com, you can click on the classes link, learn a little bit more about that, and you can click book online to join us. My aim is always to provide medicine to the poisons we've all had to drink. You know, we can have compassion that if you're at our school, it sometimes is a difficult place to stand, and everyone's had poisons to drink, and everyone has a certain amount of antidote that they need. One of the things I offer in my classes when I teach about shamanism, which I will also do next year, I have a tarot class January and February of next year if you want to learn the tarot. And then sometime spring, summer, I'm going to start offering foundational shamanic core classes. But one of the things I offer in that class, since I've studied international shamanism, and that is how shamanism as a practice is practiced around the globe from all these different cultures. Lightwalker's brilliant mind has taken all of that information and found a cohesive element in the studies I've had with him that reflect 16 different signs of symbols that you may be experiencing in your life that can reflect that you may be invoked onto the shamanic path. So we can literally look at these 16 signs that you may be a shaman. So these are some of the things that I offer in a shamanic class. If you are a shaman, you will likely have instances and experiences where you are put in the river of your life. As you're swimming through it, you are connected to shamans. I remember long before I was invoked to the shamanic path, I was with a man that I love, that I lived with, and he was friends with a shaman and would play chess with him. And one time we went to the shaman's house, and that shaman had an eyeglass cleaner, and he was like, "Give me your glasses, ma'am. Let me clean your glasses." So I literally had a shaman cleaning my glasses or my perception. It was actually a very toxic, unhealthy relationship for me, just because that gentleman had his own antidotes to find. But he cleaned my glasses for me and was like, "There, that's better." You know, you may have experiences like that where you engage with a shaman in some way, or you keep being asked to go see one. So that's often an activation. And you might want to look if that is happening to see, oh my gosh, am I standing in the veil between the spiritual realm and the earthly realm? Or do I feel very connected and pulled to investigate the spiritual realm after having been very mired in the physical realm? There are ways that that's being invoked. So one of the things that's true for the shamanic path is usually a shaman is going to invoke you to take the path. Heather Feather has completed her apprenticeship with Lightwalker. Heather Feather has worked with a lot of different shamans in this world in a lot of different ways. And I am somebody that invokes people to the path this day. And so I just wanted to say, if you feel like you are full of medicine, if you feel like you are an antidote to poisons, if you often play the role of counselor, if you tend to know a lot of people, like Heather knows a lot of people, and I'm deep, deep, deep introvert, but spirit keeps me connected to where the medicine is needed, you may have a shamanic tendency and be a rare bird that is being invoked onto that pathway. And that can include a lot of different very powerful cities or spiritual powers that you may bring to bear in your lifetime, like shape-shifting, or the ability to transmute things, or the ability to alchemize, or the ability to defy physics. It can expand into larger things than one might imagine. You can go to rarebirdmedicine.com again and click on the classes link to sign up for the Lionsgate Portal class. You can always go to YouTube and look for Rare Bird Medicine and subscribe and like there. I love to hear your comments. May you be the medicine that you are in this life. Amun.